Joey Logano gets a good run. He'll get right on the back bumper of Kevin Harvick, who's out front.
Yeah, pretty interesting move right there by two Ford drivers. Matt Benedetto leading the race right now. Decided not to keep playing with the Ford. Said, I want to lead this race. I'm going to take care of myself. Eric Almirola, same thing. Neither one of those guys are in the playoffs. They dropped off of the other Fords to lead the race.
A little bit surprised by Eric Almirola not to get out of that line of Fords he was in, but not surprised by Matt Benedetto, who's trying to race for a job. No guarantees where he's going to be next year. No guarantees on what manufacturer he's going to drive for. He's racing for himself today. Parker.
Well, Dylan, one of the interesting things here as we see these Fords really control this race is how they got there. If you go a couple laps back, you saw the 22 push the 4 of Kevin Harvick there all the way through the corners, almost tandeming like we used to see a couple years ago. Remember with this package change that we had going to July Daytona, or August Daytona, excuse me, these cars were slowed down. A lot of people wondered, could you do it? We didn't quite see it at Daytona, but coming here to Talladega, a bigger track, we thought we might see it. We thought we might see it out of the Fords, which have a flusher, flatter front nose that allows it. And I think we're definitely seeing that tandem being able to use through the corners a little bit, Marty.
Well, Parker, you see the Fords working so well together there. Kevin Harvick shot to the lead for just a moment in front of the 21 of Matt Benedetto. The Chevys, though, you see them kind of working with everybody. Steve, you always had a terrific analogy. It's like making a dinner reservation for 16 versus a dinner reservation for 4. The Chevy plan has really changed. They will all pit together, just like the Fords will. But when it comes to on track, they are told, listen, you do not have to work with Chevys necessarily. Yes, help your other teammates if you can, your other Chevy cars, but you don't have to do that because they want to avoid 10 cars in a pack together. That's when a big wreck can take everybody out.
And I like that plan, Marty. I think the value of teammates is the most under green flag pit stops, on and off pit road and being organized. But on the racetrack, Dale, Jeff, I want you to kind of go out there and understand there are cars.
Rewind.
But don't worry about other cars. Worry about
D's
yourself.
in first.
Yeah, I need to be able to make moves when I need to make them. Now, I love working with teammates as long as they wanted to do what I was doing.
See, that means you wanted them working with you. That's right. Right. I got you.
Right.
What's interesting to me about the Ford situation we talked about is you got one Ford on the inside, one Ford on the outside. So what does that mean? If you're Kevin Harvick, you're Joey Logano, if you're any of those other Ford guys, you now know, hey, I can't trust Matt Benedetto, right? He's going to be on his own agenda, and I'm not saying that's wrong. But when you go into the race expecting that the guy's going to be working with you and he doesn't early in the race, and you immediately say, okay, cross him off my list. I no longer can trust him.
See Joey Logano's heart rate north of 130 in drivers. I've never raced around Talladega, but it seems to be not very physical. It seems to be all of this heart rate is from the adrenaline and the nerves as you race in the pack.
You guessed it. It's the mental strain and the mental anxiety, the fear of being in that pack 3 wide, just where Joey is, right in the middle of it. He's in the worst possible place to be in that pack right now, and his heart rate shows that.
When you mentioned the mental strain, when you see activity strain 6.9, similar to lifting weights, that goes from 0 to 21 and continue to climb all day long. So already a lot of effort. Only 16 laps into the race, now over 7. So trying to control that, keep yourself as calm, keep breathing, keep that heart rate low. Can't help a driver in his fatigue.
And remember, this race will go for 3 hours. So at least 3 hours. As we saw the 23 of Bubba Wallace, not a surprise that he was up front. He's had great success on super speedways. His best career finish is on super speedways, especially at Daytona.
2 guys that haven't had great success are at the front of this field. Kyle Larson, admittedly not a big fan of this type of racing. And Mark Truex Jr., I think he's a good plate racer, a good restricted plate racer, but he wrecks a lot, has terrible luck, breaks the car. All kinds of things have happened to Martin to not allow him to get the win. Dave.
Checking in on the situation for Christopher Bell. Remember, coming in, he's 25 below the cut line, 12th and last among playoff drivers. And he told us this week, we got nothing to lose. We buried ourselves with a self-inflicted pit road wound at Vegas and finishing 24th. So what about today? He said, we're going to be in it for stage points all day. So what's he doing currently 20th? Well, he's doing that. He's trying to find his way back to the front after starting 12th. Got shuffled back to 27th. He's been working with anybody he can find. This would be a great one to work with right here, his teammate Kyle Busch, as he needs to move that 20 car forward and finish this stage in the points. Marty?
Dave, a moment ago, William Byron was running up here in this front of this pack, but he has fallen to the back, and that was by intent. When he was on the top line, Tipper shot up to close to 300, moved down to the bottom. They went down to 275, but they're not coming down any further. So he dropped to the back of this pack, trying to get some clean air to the nose of that colorful number 24 car there in the back of the pack. So, Steve, at what point do you worry about temperatures, but do you take tape off? Is that an option on this first stop to cool that 24 down?
Well, if you have tape on it, you can remove it, but I think at this point it's about William learning where he can and can't run. It's easy to cool a car in clean air. I would have to ask William, hey, is this too much effort to keep this car cool? Do I need to help you out? And let him tell me if he can move around and manage it.
Points always moving. You see those on the left. Everyone fighting for points here in stage one.